Hello, this is Abby from ollieholly.com. Welcome to day 6 of my 12 days of Appliques crochet along. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to crochet this fun little Christmas tree ornament. Pause here to read through the materials I'll be using to make my Christmas tree with. If you want to follow along with a written pattern, you'll find the printable PDF in my shop on ollieholly.com. The link will be in the description box down below. To receive future updates on new patterns, sign up for my newsletter through the link in the description box down below. The first thing we will be working on is the tree itself. To start, take your yarn and make a slip knot. Next, we're going to chain 3. So yarn over, pull through. That's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to be working into the chain. When working into a chain, I like to work into the back bumps. This is the front of the chain, and I'm flipping my chain over to reveal the back bumps. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Skip the first chain and work into the next 2 instead. Into each of these, we'll be working 1 single crochet. So I'm inserting my hook into the second bump from the hook, yarn under to pull a loop up, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops. Into the next bump, I'm going to insert, yarn under and pull a loop up, yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops on my hook. For row 2, turn, then increase into each stitch. Do not chain 1 at the beginning of each row because it will change the shape of your tree. So I'm inserting my hook directly into the first stitch, yarn under to pull a loop up, then yarn over and I'm pulling it through the 2 loops on my hook. Then I'm inserting my hook back into the same stitch I just worked into, yarn under to pull a loop up, then yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. We're going to be increasing into the next stitch too, so insert, yarn under, pull a loop up, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on your hook. Then back into the same stitch, insert, yarn under to pull a loop up, then yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. You should have a total of 4 stitches by the time you are done. To work row 3, turn your piece, then work 1 single crochet into each stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. To work row 4, turn your piece. And into this row, we're going to work an increase, 2 single crochet, then increase, for a total of 6 stitches. So increase into this first stitch, then 1 single crochet into each of the next 2. So 1 and 2. Then work 1 more increase into the final stitch. For rows 5 and 6, turn your work, then work 1 single crochet into each stitch. Pause here to work rows 5 and 6, and I'll meet you at the end of row 6. For row 7, turn. Then we'll be working an increase into this first stitch, 4 single crochet, then increasing into the final stitch. So into this first stitch, that's 1, into the same stitch, 2, that's our first increase. Then we're going to work 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then into the final stitch, work an increase. For rows 8 and 9, turn, then work 1 single crochet into each stitch. Pause here to work rows 8 and 9, and I'll meet you at the beginning of row 10. After you finish row 9, turn your piece. For row 10, we're going to be increasing into the first stitch, then working 6 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then into the final stitch, we're going to increase. So increase, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then into the final stitch, work an increase. To set up for row 11, we're going to turn our piece. And then to start, we're going to work 9 single crochet. And we're going to be marking the 4th stitch with a stitch marker. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to mark my 4th stitch because this is where we're going to be starting our tree trunk in later on. And now I'm going to continue working my single crochets, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You should have 1 stitch left over, and into that stitch we're going to work 3 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So that's 3 stitches into the same stitch. For this next part, pick up 9 single crochet along this side of the tree. There's no specific spots for you to insert your hook into, but I just like to try to work into the sides of each row to the best of my abilities. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've worked 4 single crochet and I'm going to work the remaining 5 stitches. And I'm making sure to secure this yarn tail from the slip knot into the backs of the remaining stitches. I'm doing so by laying it over the working end of my yarn and crocheting over it. This is just so that I don't have to weave it in later on. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Next, we'll be working into the 2 chains from row 1. Because I worked into the back bumps when working into the chain, you'll actually see the front of the chains on top over here, and they look just like regular stitches. Into that first chain, I'm going to work a single crochet. And into that second chain, I'm going to work an increase. Now I'm going to pick up 9 single crochet along the other side of the tree. And I'm making sure to leave 1 stitch space at the end here, because I'll be working an increase after the 9 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And into that gap that we intentionally left out, I'm going to be working an increase. So that's 1 and 2. Slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. Cut the yarn tail and pull your hook up to fasten off. Thread your yarn tail onto a darning needle and work a seamless join in the round. To do so, locate the second stitch from your final stitch. So that's that stitch right there. Insert your needle into it and pull through. Then insert your needle back into the center of your final stitch and out the back. Pull through. Weave the tails into the back, then trim off any excess yarn tails. For the tree trunk, start with a slip knot of the trunk color on your hook. Insert your hook into the stitch marked by the stitch marker and pick up a single crochet. I like to lay the yarn tail from my slip knot over the working end of my yarn to secure it into the stitches. Work a total of 4 single crochet. For row 2 of the tree trunk, turn your work, then work 1 single crochet into each stitch. Cut the yarn tail, pull your hook up to fasten off, then weave the tails in. Trim off any excess yarn tails. And finally, let's make the star. I'll be using green yarn because it shows up a little bit better on camera. To start, make a magic circle. If you need some help with the magic circle or to see it worked a little slower, I have a dedicated video tutorial and I'll link it in the description box down below. Into the magic circle, start by working 1 single crochet. Chain 2, and just like before, I'm going to be working into the back bumps of the chain, and I'll be skipping the first chain from my hook and working into the second chain instead. Into that second chain, I'm going to work a slip stitch. So this is going to be the first point of our star, and then we're just going to repeat this 4 more times. Let's see that again. Work 1 single crochet into the magic circle, chain 2, then work a slip stitch into the second chain from your hook. So that's 2, single crochet, chain 2, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. That's 3, single crochet, chain 2, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. That's 4. And at this point, I'm going to pull on the yarn tail from my magic circle slightly just to make it easier to work with. Back into the circle, single crochet, chain 2, slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, and that's 5. Now I'm going to pull on my yarn tail from my magic circle fully to tighten up that circle in the center. Slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. So that's this single crochet right here. Now take your tree and insert your hook into the topmost stitch. Work a slip stitch to attach the star to the tree. Cut the yarn tail, making sure to leave a long enough tail to sew with, then fasten off. I'm going to flip my piece over and trim the yarn tail from my magic circle. Then with this tail here, I'm going to whip stitch the bottom of the star to the tree a few more times to secure it just a little bit more. Weave the tail into the back of the star, then trim off any excess yarn tails. And at this point, you're probably looking at my applique and you're thinking, wow, that looks super uneven. And that's okay, because I'm going to block my tree to even the stitches out and to shape it to look more even. To block, fully saturate your applique with some cool water. Squeeze out any excess water, then lay onto a washcloth to blot out the water. Pin your applique to your blocking board, adjusting any stitches that look out of place. Allow it to fully dry before removing any of your pins. Using 3 out of 6 strands of embroidery floss in the color of your choice, embroider a line down the center of the tree. Then embroider a few branches along the line. Tie a tight double knot in the back with the remaining floss tail. Cut off any excess floss. With embroidery floss in a similar color to your tree, sew a few beads onto the ends of the branches. Tie a tight double knot in the back to fully secure. I'll be turning my tree into an ornament, so I'm going to glue a loop onto the back of the star with some fabric glue. Allow this to dry for a few minutes before applying glue to the rest of the back. Then press a piece of felt down the back. Allow the glue to fully dry before you cut out your applique. Cutting too early will get glue all over your scissors. Thank you so much for following along with this video. If you like this video, you'll probably like my other videos too. Please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!